Alright guys, welcome back to one of the parts for making a keyblade on Blender. So what have we done so far? We've done the 3D modeling, we've done the texture mapping, we've done the textures, and we are now doing the chain and the charm for the keyblade. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably watch the previous videos so that you have an idea what we're talking about. So this is what we have so far for the keyblade that we've modeled on Blender. As you can see, it is already completely modeled, but it's just missing the chain and charm. And I'm using Madakurio's picture for a reference. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be making the chain and the charm, as like I said. Right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to turn down the background image, or we're going to turn it off, and we're going to add an image. Open, and this image will be the chain and charm image that we saved on Photoshop. Make it a bit smaller, and we're going to work with making the chains. Alright then, so let's make the square chain first, because you know, square is easier to work with and stuff. Click here, and when you click there, I want you to go to your 3D cursor and make sure that the Y is 0. I want it to be completely on the Z axis when you look at it from the side. That's why we set Y to 0. Alright? And from there we can hit plane. From plane, hit side view, so hit 3 on the numpad. Hit R and rotate it 90 degrees. From there, from the front, we're still in object mode by the way, we haven't gone to edit mode yet. I want you to go into edit mode now, and then go into wireframe mode by hitting Z, and then hit S and shrink it down. Up until you can... Oops. So I've gone out back into object mode, edit mode, use this, and I can squeeze it down. So I've gone back out into object mode. I'm just moving things around, that's basically it, to try and get as close as possible. Scaling it down. Alright, so I'm quite happy with this. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get a plane, a square that fits the chain, and that's what I've done so far. What I want to do now is I want to select everything, hit A to select everything, hit X, only faces. Alt, right click, Control E, mark scene. And then I want you to make a triangle. Doesn't matter which one you join to. It doesn't matter if you join this one to this one or that one to that one, as long as you make 2 triangles. So I'm going to join this one to this one. Select all again by hitting A and press F. Done. Now we open another window from the side. Click on this box down here. UV image editor. Select all, mesh, unwrap, unwrap. Now you have this. Open, go to CHAIRM, or the image that you saved the chain and charm as. Open it. Now you have this. So what you need to do now is you need to try and fit this square around that. And after you've done that, then you can hit texture mode and you'll see something that's magical. So let's try that now. So I'm going to be working on this screen. Hit S to scale, and then just hit G to move it around. So you can just keep moving it around and keep scaling until you get it right. Yep, so that looks okay. Go to texture mode. As you can see, it's black for some reason because there is shading. So I need to remove the shading. Go to new, shadeless, and look, it's still not perfect yet. It's still not it's not transparent because you gotta set the transparency on. And now you have it. You've got yourself a chain. Alright, so you can close this window by clicking here and dragging it back. Let go. From here, tab out into object mode, scroll up, and make sure the location is all 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 for everything. Okay. From there, go back into edit mode, and you want to rotate this 90 degrees. Or minus 90 degrees, up to you. Yeah, doesn't really matter. From here, before you do anything else, I want you to check the reference image to see how big the chains are. So obviously the chains are a lot more smaller than what I have here. So you can scale it downwards by hitting S. You can scale it down to roughly the size you want. I can also make it longer as well. S, Z to elongate it. Alright, so I'm quite happy with this. Right, so what I'm going to do now is, you can't connect it up like that. It just doesn't look right. Right? So tab out to object mode. Do a bird's eye view by hitting 7 on the num key and then hit rotate. And then after you've rotated it approximately 90 degrees, you just enter 90 into here. Then you can go back and have a look at it. Look at it now. It is now on its side. You can move it up, and so that it just roughly, links onto the hook here. Now what I need you to do is I need you to repeat this. So you need to make a copy of it. So Shift D, click, and then you need to drag it down until it's roughly just about there. Once again, go back into bird's eye view, hit R, and rotate it 90 degrees again. And there we go. Every time you hit 7 to go into bird's eye view, and then every time you rotate it while in bird's eye view, you're actually rotating the model around the Z axis, which is why it's easier. I mean, there are other ways of doing it, but that's just how I do it. Alright? And then now you have two chain links done. Okay? Now, how many chain links does the original reference image have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 1, 2. So 7 links, right? What you can do is you can keep doing that over and over again 7 times, or you can just copy and paste what you already have. So click the top one, click the bottom one, Shift D to duplicate, click the screen, and then just drag it down. So now from 2 we have 4, right? Scroll down, Shift D again to duplicate, and from 4 we have 6. Pretty cool, huh? Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 6. Now we just need one more to make 7. Right? That's how we count numbers, right? Hopefully I'm getting it right. So Shift D, click, drag down, and now we have link number 7. It is not Zelda number 7, it is link number 7. Alright, so we can move everything up, because I usually like to have everything above this red line, the x-axis. So hit A to select everything, and then just drag upwards. Okay? And now we need to put in a circular link followed by the Mickey Mouse symbol. So I will now close the reference image because it's becoming a distraction on the screen. Right, so now we need to make the circular link. Very simple. So we just rinse and repeat what we did for the square link, we will now do for the round link. Or this talking of links, sorry. Link this, link that. So we insert a plane, side view, rotate it around the x-axis by 90 degrees or minus 90 degrees, whatever floats your boat. Front view, wireframe, tab into edit mode. And you want to scale it down until it roughly fits the circle. Once that's done, select everything, X, only faces, Alt, right click, Control E, mark seam, click here, Shift click here, F, A, F, not atrial fibrillation, just AF. Click here, and then you want to go to UV image editor. Mesh, unwrap, unwrap. And you want to go to image, open image, chain and charm, or charm, or whatever you call it. And you can scale it down and make it fit. I think the best way to do this is actually to practice, because sometimes watching it doesn't make sense. If you're making a model at the moment, best thing to do is to click pause and play and just follow along, and that's usually how you learn. That's how I learned. Alright, so hitting G to try and fit it into place. Once you have it roughly into place, go to change it from wireframe mode to texture mode, and you will see that it's gone black again because there's too much shading. Go to this icon here, you can middle click the top and just drag it across. Scroll up, new, shadeless. Once again, it's not transparent, so you need to click the transparency button, and there you have it. So now you have the circular link. The location, make sure it's 000 while in object mode. Right, so now we have the circular link. Now we can open the reference image and try and compare the size. So obviously we can see that this one is a great deal bigger than that. So we can make it smaller by clicking on object and hitting S to scale. So I think it's roughly this size, just about that size. Once you have the right size, click, drag up, make sure it links properly, like that. Alright, and so now all that's left is the charm, and when done, all that's left is the charm, and we will have completed modeling a keyblade. The charm. Okay, so the charm is a bit different. Now, there are many ways of doing the charm. You can actually use a square plane, like you've done for the two chains above, or you can make one from scratch. I usually do it from scratch, only because it looks cooler. But anyway, the choice is yours. You can, if you're out of time, you can just do a square plane with the charm and just connect it on, or you can do what I do, and that's actually use the vertices and make a proper plane. Alright, so click at the so in the center of the Mickey symbol, I want you to click there, go to plane, insert a plane, and I want you to do is go into edit mode by hitting tab. I'll close this window, it's a distraction. Tab, and then what I want you to do is press X and delete everything. And like what we did for the for making 3D models, just basically you don't have to hug the contour very tightly, just enough, because if you hug too tightly, it becomes very difficult to try and fit it onto the texture that you made. So just roughly. Come on. Alright, so now I want you to Alt, right click, Control E, mark seam. Alright, so mark seam first, and after you've done that, then you can start making the polygon triangles. So everything has to be triangles. Oops. Triangle. Triangle. Doesn't look nice, huh? Doesn't look nice, I meant to say. It does not look nice. But anyway, what can you do? Doesn't matter how, as long as they're in triangles, that's all that matters. So just having a quick look to make sure everything's in triangles. Once you're happy with it, hit F, you'll fill it up, and then press Z to go into wireframe mode. Click on the side, open it, go to UV image editor, select all by hitting A, mesh, mirror, not mirror, UV unwrap. Now you have this strange looking shape. Now what you want to do now is you want to go to image, open your chain and charm picture, and then you want to try and fit it around either one of the two top Mickey heads. Now the reason why I mirrored it earlier is because sometimes Blender does weird things, and what it will do is it will mirror it for you, like mirror this shape that you've done. So in that event, you then can just move on to the other shape instead, instead of trying to do this side. So yeah, so it's just, you know, preparing in advance. You want to be well prepared. Because what I found is when I used to do it, I found out I'm like, oh crap, I have to go back to Photoshop and open up the Mickey head and flip it because I didn't do it properly the first time, or you know, Blender was just being annoying. But anyway, I'll show you that fit. Let's try this one. Looks like it might fit this one. I think it will fit this one. Yeah, it fits snugly, like Cinderella's foot in a glass slipper. Alright, so that's done. Go to change from wireframe mode to texture mode, and you can see it's gone black again. And I think by now you know how to do it. Go new, shadeless, transparency, and done. You have the Mickey head done. You can now close off the background image. That one, you don't need it anymore. Now you gotta match the size. So make sure it's 0, 0, 0 in location. Yep, and then you want to try and make it match the size. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but you know. I think that should be fine. Well, I guess that's what. Well, I'm gonna have a look first to make sure there are no errors. I just don't like the fact that this circle is placed like that. Usually I flip it 90 degrees so it penetrates it from the front. But anyway, I'll see what I can do. I'm just gonna turn off the reference image for a sec there. Alright, I think that should be fine. I'm not going to change it. Only because I want to be faithful to the original design. I was originally going to flip this circle here. I was going to flip it like this. I was going to turn it like that, so that it penetrates something from the front, but now I think I'll keep it like that. It'll look a bit awkward on MMD, but you know, it should be fine. I mean, alright. So just doing a final quality check, making sure that all the links are done properly, that there are no missing textures. You can scroll up and appreciate your hard work of what you've struggled to make, all that blood and sweat and saliva, spit and whatnot. Okay, so when you're ready, you need to save, and save. I cannot. Oh, and make duplicate copies, because in the past I have accidentally deleted my stuff and it is a headache, because you know, you spend 3 or 4 hours modeling stuff and accidentally hit the delete button, and yeah, I know, I'm pretty dumb. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to export this as a MMD file. Now before you do this, you need to make sure you have the plugin for an MMD export script or something like that. You can find this very easily by googling Blender MMD PMD PMX export script. Usually it comes as a .py file. You just download it and you just install it to your Blender. There are guides on Google on how to do it, and I think it will be best for you to have a look at how to do those, because I did that a long time back and I don't know how to do it, and it is a fruitless waste of time for me to go through that with you, because I mean the aim of this is to make a keyblade, right? Not to teach you how to use Blender properly. And there are other tutorials online which can teach you how to really use Blender properly. So if you really want to know how to use Blender, like you know, all the functions and everything, which I don't know how to use yet, I'm still learning, I highly urge you to use Google and stuff like that to you know, to get the hang of using Blender. They can really teach you. Now the other thing I also want to mention is that in this case of making Keyblade, we had a reference image to go by, right? We had a reference image to go by. It was just very lucky that this Keyblade was already fully designed. But For other things, for other, for like basically for keyblade designs that you want to make that are original, sometimes it might not be as easy, and I'll just give you an example of what I mean. So here is a keyblade that I made. It's meant to be for Xemnas, you know, the Kingdom Hearts character Xemnas. It's not complete yet. I don't have the time to finish it and everything, so it's still in its developmental stages. As you can see, it has motifs of Xemnas's ethereal blades from Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. Like, I don't know, there's his Ultima weapon, if you equip Pandora's gear or something like that. And there's also Young Xehanort's swords, so that's Young Xehanort's laser beam thingy, and that's one of Xehanort's, not Xehanort, that's one of Xemnas's, you know, ethereal blades and stuff like that. Anyway, if you had a look at the original design, that's not what it looks like. So if I will show you the original design. The original design is... where is it? Vain and Vanity. That is my phone. What's it doing? Okay, never mind. Okay, so that's Vain and Vanity, if you have a look here. So obviously it looks nothing like it. It looks nothing like it, right? My phone is spazzing out. Anyway, just ignore it. So Vain... okay, there you go. So, as you can see, Vain and Vanity looks nothing like it. This part, which I got from Kingdom Hearts Wikia, it's an image. Basically, I had to curve it, and so as well as that part there. And you can see that these parts are really out of proportion. So what I'm saying, basically what I'm trying to say is that when you're designing a keyblade, like if you're using reference parts, don't be afraid if it looks crap to begin with, because while modeling it on Blender, you can always go back and change things. Like the blade part here, as you can see, it's relatively short, so it looks a bit awkward, right? But what I've done is I've actually extended it, and I've also added the nobody symbol here. So what I'm trying to say is that you can be creative, right? You can be creative. There's no right or wrong. It's a form of art. So yeah, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that's how we learn, and that's how we move on. All right. That looks like an unversed, you know, the flood, doesn't it? But it looks nothing like it there. Now that I think about it, it really does look like an unversed. I've stuck an unversed to a keyblade. Alright, thank you very much guys for tagging along for my journey on making a keyblade. For those who don't use Miku Miku Dance and are happy with what they've learned so far, I hope you've learned something, if anything, from my, you know, senseless jabber. Please do show me what you do make. I'd be very happy to hear from you if you end up making something productive after watching this tutorial. Another thing is that if you do use MMD, and you would like to import models into PMD, PMX and rig them, like that's what I'm going to do for the Keyblade next, please do stay tuned for the next video, because I'll go through a step-by-step of importing the models into MMD. I'll also go through correcting textures if they are not working properly. I will also go through rigging physics. Now, important thing about rigging physics is that I'm not that best about rigging physics. I'm not the best with rigging physics, sorry. Even the physics I rig can be a bit glitchy. So yeah, that will mark the end of my tutorial. Please do stay tuned for the MMD and PMD segment of Keyblade